Hi everyone, it's Hannah. I just thought I'd make a quick video to explain this Tithe map volunteering that you've also kindly agreed to help me with. I thought what I would do is just run through a few examples of how I fill in this spreadsheet, and then any other questions or queries you can email me. But just running through what I've done, because as you can see I've already completed quite a lot of the work, probably about I'd say 1/3 of the county. So there's plenty of examples in the spreadsheet about what you might write, and you can always go and use these examples and look at the tithe maps on the Map Explorer and use my examples for help, but also you can always just email me too. The first thing I will say about this spreadsheet though is that since a couple of you have already started, I think there might be issues with us filtering the spreadsheet. So when you click here and you can filter, some of you can't create a filter like this. So actually, although it might be a little bit more clunky, I think it might be easier if we just don't use the filter option, because I know that I think if I filter it from the main Espis account, you can't undo that filter, so I just need to remember not to filter it when you guys are working on it. I also am not sure if you can see this button in your version of the spreadsheet, but if there is a problem when you're trying to use the spreadsheet, you can click on this, which is a little chat for the document, and you can message me on here to say, "Hi Hannah, you've got the spreadsheet open, please can you remove the filter because I'm trying to work on it," or something like that. And then I'll get a little notification, and if I've got a filter on for some reason because I'm checking through what you've done or I'm doing something else with the spreadsheet, then I know you're trying to get it to work on, and so I can remove the filter. So that's that option. What I'm going to do now is just quickly run through a few examples. This is not a flawless process, and it's a little bit clunky, and this is because of the way that that we don't have the tithe maps digitised for Suffolk, other than on this paid service that we've signed up for, and a few other things that just mean that this process is a little bit clunky. But hopefully seeing some examples will help you get through it. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to just work through these examples. Hopefully that will give a nice range of all the things that could possibly go into the spreadsheet, and if not, then we can talk through anything else that we need to talk through. So what I've got open now is obviously the tithe map data spreadsheet that I've given you all access to. I've got the Map Explorer ready to look at my tithe maps, and I've got the Ancient Woodland Inventory map, which is on our website. So the first thing we're going to do is to search for the parish, so I can just Control-C or right-click and copy this and paste that into here. Now this menu option usually brings up like a drop down because it wants you to specify where you want to go, and obviously anything with Suffolk written on it usually takes you to the right place. Now I actually don't know where Alpherton is. I'm assuming I'm also pronouncing that correctly, and unfortunately on this AWI map on our website we don't have a search feature for places, so I'm just going to zoom out to check whereabouts I am in the county. Near Lavenham. Okay, oh I see, Stowmarket's just, okay, so we're south of Bury St Edmunds, just north of Sudbury, so I'm going to use that to come to this map. Sudbury is down here, so we're looking about here somewhere, I think. This map can also be a little bit slow, so we'll just zoom in slowly and see where we are. There's Lavenham. Ah, yes, there we are, about there. So we've got a couple of parcels of woodland that we need to look at, and really what we want to do is use these unique ID codes, so 81860, to find where we want to look at on here. So that's not that one. Wondering if it's 81860. That's what I said, isn't it? Yeah, 81860. Okay. So that's how I've located where I'm going to start. The first record in my spreadsheet. I also realised that that's part of what the clunkiness is with this process, is that you also can't search for these unique ID parcels within this map. So apologies about that. It's just, it's the limitation of Google Maps. And just do your best. If you can't find one and you've been looking for ages, you can always email me the unique ID and I can try to help you locate it. But hopefully 9 times out of 10 you'll be able to find it. So this one looks like it's long and along the river, on this Averley Lane. Along Chadbrook. Okay, so I'm going to come to the Map Explorer and I'm going to look for Chadbrook, which I can see here. I'm going to zoom in, and I think these tree symbols on the OS map, which I've got set up in view, give us a good idea of kind of the area that we're looking at. And then if you zoom in close enough, you get these grey pins that come up, and that can help you to view the map. Now, every time you load a new Tithe map, I will just tell you, this middle layer then switches on, which is really annoying because we don't need to use it, so I just switched that off. It also changes the map underneath the Tithe map, so if we switch the Tithe map on to this OpenStreetMap. You can stick with the OpenStreetMap if you prefer, but I prefer to use the Ordnance Survey because I feel like they have more woodland detail, although, to be fair, the OpenStreetMap also has this marked on, so if you don't want to keep switching to Ordnance Survey, you can definitely use the OpenStreetMap as your base layer. But yes, remember to switch the middle layer off because this can get a bit confusing. This is obviously quite different looking to the Tithe map if we then switch that on, but actually it's not dissimilar. So just remember to always switch this off so you're not accidentally using this data for our spreadsheet. We want to use the data from the Tithe maps, which are the top layer. So as we can see, it looks like the area covered on the AWI map, which starts, where this little road goes, starts from right by this bend all the way down the end of the river to where this other road joins. It looks like roughly that's that road, so it ends in the same place. And it does look roughly like it starts in the same place. Let's just switch this off and see what we think. Hasn't got that little mark, hasn't got this little road marked on there, this little piece which I was using to determine where it starts. But yes, it seems like this woodland piece is present on the Tithe map, and this is the number for it, which you can tell from the pin is 49. So now we've found this information, what I'll do is copy this number by double clicking on the number and then clicking either Control-C or right click and copy, and then taking that information for this record in the spreadsheet and pasting it under Tithe plot number. And I like to click values only because then it does the same formatting, if you can see. That just slightly changed. And then we can also see that we've got the Tithe description given as part of this pin. So that's given as plantation, so we'll copy that across. Again, values only because we don't want the format. Then we're going to put a dash in here, and we're going to find out what the state of cultivation is. So for that we're going to right click, open this transcript in a new tab so we don't lose where we are on the map. When this opens, we've got a summary and actually more information than we got here, but we've already taken the information we need from this page. So all we need to do now is check for plot 49, what is the state of cultivation on the scan of the book, of the Tithe apportionment book. So, I already forgot the number. What is it? Oh, 49. So 49, here we go. Oh good, so this is a good example of of what to do when you don't have anything written. So what I would do in this case, I've got this recorded, number 49, and I've got plantation recorded, and that indicates woodland to me, so that's great. And then because there's nothing written here in my spreadsheet, I'm just going to fill in blank record. And what this tells me is that I've gone to the page, I've found the page, I've looked at the record, and there is a blank bit for some reason. Don't ask me why there's blank bits. Sometimes this whole column will be blank, sometimes this whole column will be blank. It varies across the whole county, and I have no idea why. It's just a variation in how they documented things across the various parishes, I think, depending on who was actually writing all this information out. But sometimes I think when they've written plantation, maybe they just decided they don't need to write wood here because it's obvious from the name plantation. That could be my only guess. So once we've got all of this information in here, we'll then come back to the Tithe wood code. And basically what we're using this code to tell us is that on the tithe map, the area for this unique ID is shown as woodland. And so we would put a value of 1. And you can find which codes to use from this little tab down here, Tithe wood code. And these are the same codes that we were using in the archives and also for our first online volunteering role. So hopefully you guys are quite familiar with that. But they are here with a description of what they mean if you do need them. Okay, so this record is now completed, and what I should have done actually in the beginning is written that I was going to complete it here. But what I think the best thing to do is to just drag my name all the way down here, so I know which ones I've allocated for myself. And then now that I've completed this record, I'm going to put today's date so that I can now see, okay, this record has been completed on this date. And what I'm going to do when you guys complete these dates into the spreadsheet is I'm going to go through, either I'm going to go through every time you email me to say that you've done a batch, or once weekly I'll schedule some time to go through and check the ones you've done. And in the beginning I'll check them all and give you some feedback. But as the process goes on and I can see that you've understood what needs to be done and that you're getting it all right, I'll just do like some quality control. So I'll just check a couple to make sure that you're on the right track. Or if there's anything you need particular help with, you can always just send me this unique ID and I can tell you what I would have put for that record, and then we can go from there. So let's do the next one. We're still in the same parish. We need 93313. So let's come back to here. Zoom out a little bit. I wonder if it's that big one up here. Yeah, 93313. So we're just north of where we were. I'm going to zoom in to see what else is around there. Just this road and some water. This base map is really rubbish. I don't really like it. Oh, I can also close this book that I used for the last one. Don't need that anymore. So I'm going to close this pin, switch this off, zoom out a little bit on my base map, and try to come north to, oh yes, this area of woodland. Cool. So actually it's much more obvious on this base map than it is on this base map. There's no woodland indicated here at all. And actually now that I've zoomed a bit closer I can see that there's different codes for this. So when I click on this it should bring up a white highlighted area, and it seems that it's just this edge piece that I'm interested in, and then some little edge pieces over here. If I really zoom in you can see that it's so unclear. I don't know why Google Maps formats it this way, but it's got a few little dotted pieces up here and then this kind of strip along the eastern edge of the wood, and the wood itself has a different code. So I'm assuming this is already designated as ancient woodland because I haven't got this code in my spreadsheet. So for this 93313, let's go and have a look at the Tithe map. So actually the wood has changed shape because if I switch this on and off, you can see that across the southern edge we've lost a chunk of woodland here. But really what I'm interested in is, I think, the portion that comes down the side. It looks a similar shape to this edge that I'm interested in for this code. So it seems to me not to be included, because on the base map, the open street map, the green, that's showing some spreading of the woodland, in my opinion. But that would only be if the other end of the Tithe map. No, see, no, maybe it's just that the Tithe map is slightly not aligned. Yeah, because you've got a gap here, and that's the gap that's there. So actually it is that shape. Tricky. So I'm just flicking backwards and forwards to compare the shape of the woodland, because we're just trying to basically decide for this edge piece. And actually I think what's happened is, where this track is looks like the shape of this a little bit. So I think maybe this piece that we're interested in is this piece that's separated slightly on the Tithe map by this track. And again, this straight edge, I mean, this notch here isn't very clear on this map, which makes me think it's about there. So I think, in my opinion, that this piece is included as part of this bigger piece of woodland on the Tithe map. So what I want to do is reflect then in the spreadsheet that this code, this unique ID, this slice on the end, is actually wooded on the Tithe map. So again, we'll take the details, plot 61, copy, and then in the Tithe plot number, paste. Again, values only, not formatting. And then we'll take the description, copy and paste. And then what we'll do is put a dash in there, and then we'll go and find for plot 61 what the state of cultivation is. So 61, here we go, and it says coppice. Lovely, okay. I will just say actually whilst I'm here, that's obvious to me because I've been doing this for quite a while, but if ever you can't read something that the book says, just either take a screenshot or tell me which piece you can't figure out, and I can go and have a look too, because sometimes these scans are very faded or the book has got damaged and so you can barely see what it says. And if you can't see what it says because of something like damage, you would just write Alpherton Wood dash and then unavailable because you can't read the word coppice. But that's only if there's damage. If you can't read it because you can't interpret what the letters say, then do get in touch with me. But what we'll do is just write coppice in there. And then based on this, we want to say, yes, this piece is shown as woodland on the Tithe map. And then I'm going to copy and paste that date in there to say that I've checked that one. Okay, moving on to the next one. I'm going to, oh, I don't know why I copied that. Don't need to do that. We just need to remember it. 08298. And are we still in the same parish? Whoops. No, we're in Ampton now. So I'll copy this. I'm going to close this. Find Ampton. And then I'm going to just zoom out to see where I am. Oh, okay, between Thetford and Bury, north of Bury, near Great Livermere. Okay, Ampton. So on this AWI map, oh, by the way, if you click on these, to get rid of this panel that opens up when you click on them, you can just click this right arrow. So Ampton, we're going, zoom all the way out, come across to Berry. Oh, there's Berry. Oops. So it was about there, wasn't it? Just zoom in. Great Livermere, Ampton. There we go. So now that I've done that, I've forgotten the unique ID that I want. 80298. There's quite a few that aren't loading. Oh, there it is. So if they're not loading, you have to zoom in and out. And actually, this part is a different one. So I think it's just this piece across the road. Oh, sorry, next to the road. My computer's being a little slow, so there we go. So there's not really much to go on. There's a pond, a couple of ponds, this road, but let's have a look on the Map Explorer. So we're in Ampton, and it's probably a piece of this up here somewhere, isn't it? I'm going to try Ordnance Survey, see if that's any clearer. Okay. So this shape across here, this road, might be where this split is. There's this Y shape here, and it's sort of a little bit higher than that, where this starts. Oh, okay, so we're actually down here. So that's this road, I think, that is the split then. It's this split. So that would make sense because you've got a pond there, which is this pond, and you've got another pond here, which I think is this pond. So what we want to see is how far up this goes, kind of in line, or just above where that bend in the road is, which is here. So I think it might be from this road up here, along this road up round Folly Grove, and then once you get to there, it's a little bit ambiguous, but it kind of goes around the pond, and then a small thin piece out like that. That's kind of the area we're looking at. So let's zoom in and look at the Tithe map. Now, because I'm loading a new Tithe map, I need to remember to switch off this middle layer. And again, I'm going to put the Ordnance Survey map back on because I quite liked that. So here's the pond. Here's the bit. Okay, so that matches this piece up here, basically, is that piece covered by this plot number 6. Plot number 7 also covers a bit we're interested in. Number 8 is this. Then we've got this curve around here to that pond, which looks like this curve, but the pond is not marked on the Tithe map, which is fine. But obviously we were using that as part of a reference feature, but we can always switch this off to see, oh, I see as well, it follows this path, the shape. Yes. Good. And actually there's that road there now, which wasn't there when the Tithe map was drawn. So this is good because we've got, you know, all of the woodland that we're interested in for this piece, this 80298. It's all present. So now what we need to do is just record that it's covered by plot 6, 7, 8 and 43. And 43 is actually going all the way down here, but we're only interested in it up to about there because that's where our parcel stops. So for this one we'll start up here, and we're just basically doing the same as we always do. Just going to take the plot number, copy and paste. Oh no, I don't think I copied it. Well, it was number 6 anyway, wasn't it? Now, because we're doing multiple plots for this one, we're also going to put a 6 in here so that when we fill the information in, we can understand which information is relating to which plot number. So for plot number 6, that is called Field Heath Plantation, and I don't know how to get rid of the formatting, or maybe it just Did it just change because I'd already... It looks the same. If you ever end up with formatting that you don't want, just find a record that I've already done, click on it, click this paint format icon, and basically what that does is takes the formatting of the cell that you've clicked in, so where it says plantation blank record, that formatting, click on that, and then click on the field you want to format, the cell you want to format, and it will apply the formatting from that cell to this one. Anyway, so we want to look at state of cultivation for number 6. Let's have a look there. And then we know it's wood because it's called plantation, but let's see what it says. Yes, plantation. Now sometimes it has this D and this funny symbol with a little O, and that just means the same as whatever's written above. So all of these 1, 6, 7, 8, 10 and 12 on the map are all listed as plantation here. So that's good for us. We just come back to our spreadsheet, and in here we'll write plantation. Now we also want to record the other plots that we were talking about, so 7, 8 and I think it was 43 or 46 or something. So we'll put a comma here and then we'll move to the next plot, which is going to be number 7. So I'm not going to copy number 7 because I can just type that in, but I'm going to copy this fee plantation detail, and then in the plot number we're going to put 7, and in the description we're going to put 7 and fee plantation. Then we're going to go and see for 7, we know it's also listed as plantation. So we're going to type plantation in there again. Go back, done that one. Number 8, we're going to go for this copy. Oh, so it thinks this is a date. That's annoying. I wonder how you just... I wonder if I can copy the format. Oh no. See, I don't really use Google Sheets, so this is really annoying. Let's do 6, 7, 8, and what was the other one? 43. Yes. So then if you type them all in Google Sheets, straight away then it will just leave them as numbers, I think. It won't format it as a date, but that's really annoying. I don't know why they do that. Okay, number 8 was Folly Grove. And the state of cultivation for number 8 was also plantation. And then 43... gravel pit plantation. And let's just double check 43 was also listed. Okay, so 43 was not listed there. Oh, but here it is. Gravel pit plantation. Oh, and it's also listed as plantation. Okay. Good. So then once I've done that, I'm going to hit enter. So that's all there. And then I'm going to copy and paste. Oh, I haven't done the Tithe wood code, but we'll give that a 1 because it's also all woodland covered for that code, for that unique ID. Okay. Next one, 80316. Close this page. Oh, 80316. Good, that's the next one down. So we don't need to figure out where we are because we're just south. All we need to figure out is how far down we need to go. So I think it's half of 43, isn't it, from this path. And then down to this main road. Let's have a look. Not as far as the road, but past this water. So the water's there. So it's basically, I think, down to there. So from here, and then it gets thinner into a strip that follows the parish boundary. So let's have a look. Okay, I think that seems to be about the same shape. So it's covered by 2 plots. It's the rest of 43 that we just did, down to this road, and then it's it's this plot here as well, which is 46. So what we'll do is, since we've already got the details for 43, we'll just take them, copy and paste them into there. I'm going to put 43, 46 in here, and then we'll just get the details for 46. So that's copy and paste. Oh, we need to write 46, and then look for the state of cultivation for 46. So state of cultivation 46 is plantation as well. And then the code for this is going to be a 1. And as we can see, for some reason this has not formatted correctly. So we'll just make that formatting correct. And as you can see, you don't need to save as you go along, because you've got this up here which is saying save to drive every time you make an edit. So if we copy and paste this into here, you can see saving, and then it's saved. The only time it won't save is if you've lost internet connection, or if your spreadsheet or your browser is crashing. 80595. Let's have a look. 80595. I think we've come a bit south, haven't we? Because we're supposed to be in. What's this one? Oh, and that one. This is very slow, this map. Frustrating. My computer's also quite old though, so it might be that. What's this one? Nope. 80595. We're in Little Livermere now though, so that's still in the same parish. Let's zoom out a bit, see if we can spot it. Here we go. 80595. Oh, quite a big one. There's this big lake. So let's zoom in. Oh dear, this map is slow. I hope it's not this slow for you guys. This is annoying. So it's not this. It's this and all the circle bits. Okay. Why have I cut it up like that? Who knows? So it's this piece, this square piece up here, and then 4 circular bits, 4 blobs, and then this piece down here. And it's west of this lake, so let's switch off the Tithe maps, see where that lake is. Oh, here it is, okay. So it's probably it's probably this piece. That looks like the shape of the top bit, and then for some reason I've picked out the blobs across here. It might be to do with the fact that sometimes it was wood pasture and parkland with little pieces of plantation growing inside of it in blobs, so I've separated them out because that's how they were on Epoch 1 or something. Let's have a look. Oh no, that's why. It's the same on the Tithe maps as well. So there used to be a big park here. I guess it's, what is it now? I don't really know. Oh, maybe it's for Ampton Hall, this land. Well, anyway, I'll switch this on. So we're looking at this piece up here, which is there. Then this piece here, which is there, this piece here, which is there, this blob, and this blob, and then this piece down here. I think that's what it's looking like. although that's a completely different shape. Oh, maybe it includes this. Maybe that's why. Regardless, we've got tree symbols everywhere, so that's great. What we're going to do is see which plot numbers relate to which pieces. So we've got this 94, 94, 91, 90, 89. And then we've got this 131, but I think also this blob and the bits that, you know, that we can see it's joined to from this symbol here. I think all of that might be this piece down here. So what we're going to do is try our best to show that in our spreadsheet. So we've got 94, 91 and 90. Let's start by putting those in. 94, 91, 90. And then we've got 89 and 131. Yes. 89 and 131. So quite a lot of information to capture, but that's fine. Starting with 94. I'm just going to copy this because I can type 94 in fine, rather than doing that by copy paste. So 94. And then let's see state of cultivation for 94. That says planted, although that T looks like an L. But also, I'm just having a look for any of the other numbers. There must be on another page. That's fine. So we'll put planted here. Oops, with a capital. Then close the page. And we're coming to 91. That's just listed as plantation. So 91 plantation. And then the state of cultivation for that is also planted. Then 90. Have a look and see if 90 is in here. 90 is also plantation and planted. So I'm just going to use what I've already written for 91 here. Then 89. All listed on this sheet, I think. Also the same. I'll just paste that again. And then 131. Let's see what that's listed as. Hampton Lodge Plantation. Okay, and then what is the state of cultivation for that? 131. The same, also planted. Oops. So that is fine. All of that is captured there, and even though we didn't get a code for this piece here, you know, we can see that it's linked to this, and so it's linked to this land, and it seems like this parcel is denoted by this 88. So what we might just do is check what 88 is listed as, but because there's so many tree symbols, I don't feel too worried about the fact that I haven't captured that. So that's listed as pasture. So potentially I could list that this needs editing, because really this bottom piece should be cut about there, and actually this this top half of it should be listed as wood pasture and parkland, which I think I've done for this bigger piece, but I've listed this other piece as wooded. So what I would want to do then, because I've checked that, is I'm going to also add the number 88 into here. It doesn't matter what order the numbers go in. Oh no. Wait, let me just get rid of that then. Pasted something left over. 88. So what I'm going to do here then is add 88 on the end with the details, the planes. And then I just checked the state of cultivation as pasture. And so for this one, I would want to edit, as I said. And so the code to tell, well, for you guys basically to tell me, or for me to tell myself when I go back through that spreadsheet, that I need to edit this particular unique ID is number 2. So that's showing me that when I come to this, I can have a look through the description and state of cultivation, and I can see that all of this is listed as plantation, but that this one on the end is listed as pasture, and so that needs to be separated and added as wood pasture and parkland and given a code of 6, whereas the rest of these need to be given a code of 1, and that's why I've put a 2 here so that I can separate those. This will become 2 records, and the one that has all of these in will be given a 1 for this code, Tithe wood code, and the one that has this in will probably be merged actually into this other one, but if not, I'll give it its own code and then it will be given a code of 6 for wood pasture and parkland. So really you're using the code 2 for when you've got 2 types of land use that are woodland. If these were all, you know, land uses that we don't care about, so we're giving them a code of 0, even if they're different land uses, we would still give them a code of 0. It would only be if these ones were given a code of 0, but then we wanted to give this one a code of 6, then we would use 2, because you need to use 2 codes for one unique ID, which isn't possible. So I need to cut the unique ID and change that into 2 so that we can give it 2 codes. I hope that is clear, but if it's not, please ask, because this code of 2 hopefully won't come up too much, but when it does, it can be a bit confusing, especially when you've got so many plots of land on the Tithe map covering just one unique ID. So that is that one done. Hopefully this next one will have something a bit different, but let's have a look. 80872. 80872. Oh, here we go. 80872. So that's back to near where we were for these 2. So switch off this. Come back up here. I guess it's going to be a piece of this somewhere. Let's have a look. So, okay, it's kind of like the bottom of it is kind of in line with this. Oh, I see. So it's basically this piece, I think. Does that look right? Yeah. So let's zoom right in. Let's switch on the Tithe map. Okay, so it's got a piece of like a belt running around the edge, but this is listed as fox pen layer. Let's see what the land use is for that. The state of cultivation. Oh, I've got to check the number. 11. Let's see. Oh, 11, here we go. Okay, so this is listed as arable. So in this case, we've got a piece of woodland there now, because we can see that on the Ordnance Survey. But when the Tithe was mapped, it was actually used as an arable field. Now I know it's got this belt in it, which you may think, okay, that's got some woodland and that's corresponding with the area that we're interested in perhaps running up there. But actually this is such a thin belt, and it would be such a small amount of woodland, that it probably won't qualify for the area that we're interested in for the project. The only other thing I will do is check that it's not this piece, because actually that seems the right size and the right shape, if you see what I mean. So I might have got that wrong. That corner could be that corner. But this pond is maybe helpful. Yes, okay. So actually I got that wrong. And that's what you have to be careful of using this Google Maps base map. It's not, the piece that I just showed you that was arable is actually here, next to the pond. But what I wanted was the piece just adjacent to that. This piece here. So that is wooded. So we just copy those details across. Okay. Okay, so we've had quite a lot of woodland, haven't we? We haven't had anything that's not been woodland yet, which is good. Unless we did this one. No, we didn't, did we? Started here, I think. Yes. So, let me just have a quick look, because I think maybe we're going to find it just that it's all woodland on the Tithe map. Because this is quite a wooded area. I mean, let's keep going. Hopefully this is much clearer to you now. The things I will say is that, you know, it's very important this formatting is kept the same. If you want to add any notes about what you've found, firstly I would encourage you, please don't add too many notes, because that's too much for me to go through. Really the only notes that I've been adding in the notes column, which is just here at the end, would be if I opened a map and there was no plot number and there was no tithe description and state of cultivation, but on the map I can see tree symbols. In this notes over here I would write tithe map contains tree symbology. And I would really encourage you to use that exact phrasing so that all of our records have some uniformity and it's like a standard. And for that you would give a code of 1, Tithe would code of 1. If you want to give a code of 6, you could say, but you haven't got any information, you know, you haven't got the plot number and you haven't got the description or the state of cultivation, you would say Tithe map contains sparse tree symbology. And basically the difference between these is the difference that we can see here. So for this you would write, if there was no number here and you couldn't get the description and you couldn't get the state of cultivation, you would just say Tithe map contains tree symbology and give it a code of 1 to say that it's woodland. If it's this, you know, or it's this with kind of areas like a field with some sparse tree symbols in, then you'd say just exactly that. Tithe map contains sparse tree symbology, and then you would give it a code of 6 for wood, pasture and parkland, or something like this is a good example as well. So hopefully that is clear. Again, if you're not sure about anything, please do just ask. I think I'll stop here and I'll delete my name because I'm not going to do these ones now. let's try and find an example of 4, yes, here. Let's go to badly and have a look at what I've done here. So again, I think I know where Badley is, yeah, south of Stowmarket. There we are. So let's see what code we've got. 80967. Or actually I might just look for lower. Oh, that is Lower Badley Wood. That's the good one. That's a good example. So I think this one is Lower Badley Wood. Yes, here we go. So I'm just using this as a good example of when you would use the code 4. And is that where we are? I really struggle with this Google Maps base map because it's so unclear. Oh, I think it's this one. 08967. Yes, there we go. Okay, so I don't think we've got the Tithe map switched on, so let's view this map, the Y. And you can see that this area is not covered by this Tithe map, which is a bit odd. Oh, we'll switch off the middle layer. So really, there's no map coverage here. And you can tell where the maps, which areas the Tithe maps cover by using this Show Available Maps button. And when you do that, it will highlight in red areas that are covered by, you know, the plots with the numbers and then the pins to tell you what's in the book. So actually, as you can see, Badley doesn't have a Tithe map on this website. So there's not really much you can do there, because all of these woodlands that we're interested in, this Lower Badley Wood and a few of these other bits, we can't get any information for them. We can't even look at the map. And that's why you've got this 4 written. And 4 is to indicate that there's no map coverage. And then here we've written also unavailable, because we haven't been able to look at the book either. And so that's a good example of when you would write 4 here. Now, sometimes the map will be available but the book page won't. But if from the map you can see some tree symbols for the area that you're interested in, you can still use that as enough evidence to put a Tithe code of 1 or 6 or... The tricky thing is, if the Tithe map field is blank and you can't look at the book, you can't confidently say that that's woodland or it's not woodland, because you haven't got the book telling you what that number represents. So you can only really use tree symbology as a positive. You can't use a lack of tree symbology as a negative, if that makes sense. Again, that's a little bit complicated, but hopefully it becomes more clear as you go through. Anyway, I'm going to stop the recording here. I hope that this has been helpful in just showing you how to work through. I also think overall it might be worth us just scrolling through this sheet and getting to, you know, a record that hasn't been checked, and then going through it that way, so that we don't have to filter to say, okay, I'm going to write my name in here. And you can just scroll through to find what you need to find. And hopefully that will be okay, because it's a bit tricky if everybody's got the filters on, I think, for us to all use the spreadsheet. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know, and hopefully this is helpful. Thank you so much for offering to do this, because as you can tell, I've done a lot of it already myself, but it's better to have other people helping me, so Thank you very much. And as always, if you have any questions, just email. And if you guys really are struggling with this task and you can't seem to get your head around it, I might organise a Zoom call for us so that I can answer any of your questions, or you can come and bring your examples and we can go through them all together so that everybody's clear what we're doing. Cool, okay, that's it for now.